One really big lesson that I have taken away from reading over 20 books in the last couple of months has been that I actually should slow down and reread really good books. Now, at the beginning of the year, I thought to myself, like, I want to read as many books as I can and then start to figure out which books I should reread. But now I'm realizing that throughout my life, I actually have read some really good books. And it's kind of important that like take some time to reread them now. And what's been so funny, so I just started rereading The Psychology of Money a couple of days ago by Morgan Housel. I mean, obviously it's a very well-known, popular book, but this is actually an incredible book. And I realized how much this book has stuck with me over the years because I honestly didn't even realize how much the information in this book really changed my life until I reread it and realized, wow, like this is fantastic. And in fact, almost everything that I'm doing on this channel is based off of what I learned from this book many years ago. And I kid you not, on this channel, there is a video about compounding interest. And at the beginning of that video, I tell a story about Ronald Reed, who is the first story in this book, depending upon whatever version you're reading. And I thought to myself, I'm like, holy moly, this book literally rewired the way that I think about money and finance in general. So, um, I honestly pretty much already reread this book. It took me a couple of days. It's not a super long book. I highly recommend reading this book. If you care anything about money or even just anything about psychology, this is an incredible read that allows you to not only think about this from a philosophical perspective, but also practical ways that you can use psychology to improve your finance and your overall well-being in general. My favorite, I think, kind of takeaway from this book that we'll talk about on this channel is that in the beginning, he delineates how everyone thinks about finance as this topic of science or math. And the truth is that instead of looking at finance as physics and mathematics, you should really be looking at finance through the lens of history and psychology, at least for the individual, right? As someone who's looking to use finance as a way to better their individual lives. Obviously, if you're a big hedge fund trader or whatever, like it is a lot of numbers and math. But as an investor and as someone who's just trying to build wealth, that's not what this is about. It's really about understanding your psychology, your emotions, not controlling your emotions, but controlling your responses to your emotions, which is literally a huge theme on this channel. So I'm rereading this book, or I've reread this book because um, it's just so ingrained into who I am now at this point. So I wanted to see exactly what it was that I learned from this book, and that's all hindsight. Because honestly, I didn't remember that this book was so impactful in my life until I read it again. So that's one that I have already reread this year. But the second book that I am rereading this year that I haven't even looked at is The Mountain Is You. And this book was actually given to me from a friend a few years ago. And I remember at that time, I was like, oh, this like really changed my life. So I don't remember the book at all, quite frankly. And at that time, I wasn't putting my notes online. So I have a ton of like annotations in here. So I did read the book. I did. um, so I'm just gonna have to see exactly what it was. I mean, I think from flipping through it a little bit, what I understand is that we do a lot of things in our life where we self-sabotage, and a lot of it is just subconscious. So if we don't interrupt that pattern of self-sabotage and really dig deep into why it is that we're doing that, then it could be something that repeats for the rest of your life. And so the subtitle is Transforming Self Sabotage into Self Mastery, which is a topic that I personally enjoy, that plays a huge role in the way that I look at my life and how I try to lead my life for others. And yeah, I'm excited to see what it is that I might have taken away from this book, or what I can take away from it now moving forward. Now, this book right here, this one right here is no joke. This is by far the book that completely changed the trajectory of my life. It is a classic. It's sold millions of copies. You've definitely heard of it if you're watching this channel. And I actually, as I was looking at this book, I had this memory of where I was at my university campus. And I was reading this book, and I noticed that a quote in this book was literally written on what's called Fate Bridge at the University of Miami. So I just remembered that day it hitting me so hard. I'm like, wow, like these principles are showing up in my life in a physical way. The quote is, "I am the captain of my fate, the master of my soul." I think it's the other way around, but you get the idea. That book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And if you care anything about making money, if you care anything about having a great career when it comes to your investments, then this book is undeniably one of the best possible books that you can read. And although it's like a self help book and personal development thing, at the end of the day, this guy is a historian, and he studied very closely with Andrew Carnegie. And um, the stories that he has to tell about some of the most successful people in the world at his time is fantastic. And he dedicated his entire life to interviewing hundreds of people that were extremely successful at his time. And I believe this was like, well, based on Andrew Carnegie being alive, late to mid 1800s. So this was originally published in 1937. Interesting. So yeah, Carnegie was a little bit younger than uh, my guy uh, John D. Rockefeller. But anyways, yeah, this is just one of the best books ever for taking control of your financial future, of your emotional future, and you know, it kind of just really describes how money is nothing more than any other material thing in the world. And because of that, the real power that you have to create more of that has nothing to do with anything in the physical world. It's all internal. And when you really understand that and you master that, you can attract and create incredible amounts of money. And I kid you not, I'm not kidding. Reading this book made me a lot of money at a very young age. So, once again, I have given this book to people as a gift. I have tried to get this book in the hands of young children, different versions of the book, because you gotta, there's stuff in here that's a little bit less for kids. And I mean, it's emotional to me, honestly, the way that this book changed my life and has led to where I am today. So that's why I'm rereading it. I need to really look into what it was exactly that I read in this book and how it changed my life so much. So those are the three books that I'm rereading this year. If this was in any way entertaining or insightful to you, hit that like button and hit subscribe. The channel is super small. So when you do that, it makes a huge difference, and it tells the algorithm and it tells me exactly what it is that you want to see. So, other than that, I hope this was fun as it was for me, and I'll see you next time.